All right, folks, gather round because Hollywood is just the gift that keeps on giving, isn't it? The land of glitz and glamour, where every corner hides a story waiting to be told. You think you've heard it all, the scandals, the drama, the unexpected twists. Then something comes along that makes you say, wait, what? And trust me, today's tale is one of those head-scratchers. Today, we're diving into one of those stories, a tale that's as bizarre as it is intriguing. It involves two huge names, Mel Gibson and Christopher Walken, two titans of the silver screen. Now, Mel has his reasons, apparently, for not wanting to share a movie set with Christopher Walken. Reasons that go beyond the usual Hollywood squabbles. And it's not because Walken hogged all the good snacks at the craft services table. No, this goes much deeper. Oh no, it's much, much weirder than that. We're talking about something that borders on the supernatural. This isn't your typical Hollywood feud, you know? It's not just about egos clashing or petty disagreements. It's not about stealing roles or bad-mouthing each other in interviews. This is something that digs into the very essence of their beings. This is personal for Mel, deeply personal. It's a matter that has haunted him for years, and it stems from a specific kind of spooky encounter, an event that left an indelible mark on him. We're talking about a belief so out there, it makes some movie plots look like documentaries. So buckle up, this is going to be a wild ride. We're going on a little journey into a corner of Hollywood that's less about red carpets and more about, well, red flags, according to Mel, a place where reality and fiction blur. Why would Mel Gibson, a man who has faced his own share of, let's say, controversies and challenges, point a finger at Christopher Walken and say, I can't work with him? What could have possibly happened between these two icons? We're about to find out. So stay tuned as we unravel this whisper of weirdness that has left Hollywood buzzing. Now let's talk about Mel Gibson for a second. This is a guy who for a long time was on top of the world. Mad Max made him a star, Lethal Weapon made him a superstar, then he directed Braveheart and won Oscars. He was acting, directing, producing, he was the whole Hollywood package. You couldn't open a magazine without seeing his face. He had that rugged charm, that intensity, and he made some seriously successful movies. Everybody knew Mel. But then things got a little complicated. There were some incidents, some things he said that really changed public perception. And Hollywood, well, Hollywood can have a long memory. His career definitely took a hit. He wasn't getting those big blockbuster leading roles in the same way. He's directed some acclaimed films since then, like Hacksaw Ridge, so the talent is still there. And that brings us back to this whole Christopher Walken thing. Okay, now let's flip the script and talk about Christopher Walken. Is there anyone cooler? I mean, seriously, the voice, the hair, the dancing. It's like he's got this magical aura that just draws you in. He's just this unique, amazing presence in every movie he's in. You can't help but be captivated by his performances. From The Deer Hunter, for which he won an Oscar, thank you very much, to Pulp Fiction, Catch Me If You Can, where he played the charming yet tragic father Hairspray. The list goes on and on. He's Hollywood's beloved eccentric, like that uncle who shows up at Thanksgiving with wild stories and even wilder dance moves. You know the one. And the thing about Walken is, everyone seems to love him. It's like he's got this universal appeal. Directors want to work with him. They know he brings something special to the table. Actors want to work with him. They know they'll learn something new. And audiences adore him. He's got this quirky charm that's just undeniable. He can be menacing. He can be hilarious. He can be heartbreaking, sometimes all in the same scene. He's consistently busy, always in demand, always popping up in interesting projects, big and small. From blockbuster hits to indie gems, he's like a fine wine of weird. He just gets better with age. Think about it. Every year he seems to add another layer to his already complex persona. He's worked with pretty much everyone. Spielberg, Tarantino, Tim Burton. The list is endless. This contrast is what makes Gibson's story so utterly bizarre. Walken's career, on the other hand, is a testament to his versatility and enduring appeal. So how did this whole wild idea about Christopher Walken even start in Mel Gibson's head? It's a question that has intrigued many, given the enigmatic nature of both these Hollywood icons. Well, according to Mel himself, it all began with a meeting. But not just any meeting. It was one of those encounters that seemed destined to happen, almost as if the universe had orchestrated it. A seemingly innocent meeting, or so you'd think. Yet, beneath the surface, there was an undercurrent of something extraordinary, something that would soon unfold in unexpected ways. The setting? A rooftop in New York City, a place where dreams are born and secrets are whispered into the night air. Very dramatic, right? New York rooftops have seen a lot of things, I'm sure, but maybe not quite this. They are the silent witnesses to countless stories, some mundane, others downright bizarre. Mel was there, and then Christopher Walken approached him. It was as if the stars had aligned for this very moment. Mel said Walken just came up to him and asked, "Can I talk to you?" Simple enough, but in Hollywood, even the simplest of questions can lead to the most complex of tales. But Mel described Walken's entrance as, well, a little peculiar. It was the kind of entrance that leaves an indelible mark on your memory. He said Walken floated in sideways through a crowd of people. It was as if he defied the laws of physics, moving with an ethereal grace. Floated, sideways. Now, I've seen people navigate a crowded room, but floating sideways is a new one on me. It was almost as if he was gliding on air, untouched by the chaos around him. Maybe it was just Walken's unique way of moving, that sort of graceful, slightly off-kilter style he has. A style that is unmistakably his own, setting him apart from everyone else. But for Mel, it was an immediate red flag. A signal that this meeting was going to be anything but ordinary. The New York rooftop, the crowd, Walken in black, the floating, it all set a very particular, very ominous tone for what was to come. It was as if the city itself was holding its breath, waiting for the next act in this unfolding drama. Section 5. Talk about a conversation killer, medieval torture anyone. So, there they are, Mel Gibson and Christopher Walken on a New York rooftop. Walken has made his floating sideways entrance, and Mel is already feeling a bit weirded out. Then, they start talking. And what do you think they talked about? The weather, the latest movie releases? Nope. According to Mel, the conversation took a sharp, dark turn. They started discussing middle-age torture devices. Yes, you heard that right, medieval torture devices. Now, I'm no expert on polite party conversation, but I'm pretty sure the efficacy of the Iron Maiden is not high on the list of icebreakers. For Mel, this was a major sign that things were getting, as he put it, scary. You can imagine him standing there, trying to be cool, while Walken is potentially describing thumbscrews and racks. It's enough to make anyone a little uneasy, I'd think. Section 6. Seeing red, flags, and numbers. The 666 sighting. Alright, so Mel is on this New York rooftop, thoroughly creeped out by Christopher Walken and the lovely chat about medieval torture. He's thinking, how do I get out of here? And as he's looking around, probably for the nearest escape route, his eyes land on a nearby building. And what does he see, or what does he sees? This is where the story takes an even more bizarre turn, if you can believe it. He sees illuminated numbers on this building, you know, like those big signs you see in cities. And according to Mel, these weren't just any numbers. He specifically said he saw the top of the sixes on it. Now here's the kicker, he claims that only of these sixes were lit up. And those 3 lit up sixes formed a very particular, very infamous number, 666. Dun dun dun, the number of the beast. Section 7, that knowing smile, or was it just gas? So, Mel Gibson sees the 666 on the building. His heart is probably pounding. He's thinking, this is it, this is a sign. And what happens next, according to Mel, is the cherry on top of this whole terrifying sundae. He looks over at Christopher Walken, probably expecting Walken to be oblivious, or maybe even a little spooked himself if he saw it too. But that's not what Mel says happened. Not at all. According to Mel, when Walken presumably noticed the 666 or saw Mel looking at it, Walken smiled. Now, a smile can mean a lot of things, right? It could be a friendly smile, a confused smile, and I just thought of a funny joke smile. But in Mel's interpretation, this was no ordinary smile. He perceived it as a knowing smile. A sort of, aha, you figured it out, haven't you? Kind of smile. A sinister, confirming smirk. This alleged smile was the final nail in the coffin for Mel's already spiraling theory. Section 8. The final verdict, Gibson's Antichrist theory. So, after the floating sideways entrance, the chat about medieval torture, the assistant fleeing in terror, the air turning cold, the 666 sign, and that alleged knowing smile from Christopher Walken, Mel Gibson arrived at a conclusion. A pretty dramatic one, you guys. He became utterly convinced, as the story goes, that Christopher Walken was none other than the Antichrist. Yes, the actual, literal Antichrist. Now, Christopher Walken has played some memorable characters. He even played the Archangel Gabriel in the Prophecy movies. So he's no stranger to supernatural roles. but he's never actually played the devil or a demon or the Antichrist as far as I know. Which, if you're Mel Gibson and you believe this theory, you might think, aha, he's avoiding the role because it's too close to home. It's such a wild leap from an unsettling conversation to this man as the biblical Antichrist. Section 9, Never Gonna Work Together, the aftermath of a wild belief. So, what does all this mean for Mel Gibson and Christopher Walken professionally? Well, if you believe someone is the Antichrist, you're probably not going to be eager to, say, audition them for your next movie, or co-star with them in a buddy cop comedy. Mel Gibson, according to these reports, has made it crystal clear he will not work with Christopher Walken, ever, under any circumstances. That rooftop meeting was definitive. This bizarre conviction has had a lasting impact on Gibson's professional choices, at least where Walken is concerned. It's one thing to not get along with an actor, or to have creative differences. It's another thing entirely to believe they are a malevolent supernatural entity. That tends to put a bit of a damper on potential collaborations. It's a very specific, very personal blacklist of one. And the reason is about as out there as it gets. And that, folks, is showbiz. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe for more fascinating stories. See you on the next video.